So let me take you back 6 months before that Target encounter. Red flag number 1. My husband Marcus started going to the gym at 5 in the morning. Now this is a man who hit snooze 4 times every single day for a decade. Suddenly he's up before dawn, smelling like expensive cologne when he leaves. Not when he comes back, when he leaves. I remember standing in our kitchen thinking, who wears themselves to lift weights? But I pushed it down. I told myself I was being supportive of his fitness journey. Red flag number 2 came 3 weeks later. Marcus started pronouncing certain words differently. Quinoa became quinoa, instead of his usual quinoa. He suddenly knew what arugula was. My man who lived on burgers and fries was talking about macronutrients. And here's what really got me. He'd correct me at dinner parties. In front of our friends he'd say things like, "Actually honey, it's pronounced bruschetta, not bruschetta." I laughed it off. But that third red flag? And when I called the florist to ask about it, the woman on the phone said something that made my blood run cold. The third red flag was a charge for $347 to a florist called Bella's Blooms. Now I handle our finances. I pay the bills, I balance the checkbook. Yes, I still use a checkbook, don't judge me. And I had never seen this florist before. It wasn't our anniversary. It wasn't my birthday. It wasn't his mom's birthday. So one afternoon while Marcus was at work, I called the number on the statement. A chirpy woman answered, "Bella's Blooms, where every arrangement tells a story." I said I was calling about a recent order, gave her the date. There was typing, then silence. Then she said, "Oh yes, the weekly orchid delivery to the Maple Street address. Your husband has excellent taste. Those purple orchids are stunning. Weekly, y'all. I don't even like orchids. Our house is full of sunflowers because that's my favorite." My mouth went dry. I managed to squeak out, "Which Maple Street address?" And this sweet florist, not knowing she was about to detonate my entire life, gave me an address I'd never heard before. But nothing could have prepared me for what I found when I checked his actual work calendar. After that phone call, I sat in my car in our driveway for 20 minutes. Just sat there, hands shaking, trying to make sense of it. Then I did what any woman in my position would do. I went full FBI. First stop, Marcus's business trips. For the past 8 months he'd been traveling twice a month. Chicago, Atlanta, Boston. Always staying at nice hotels. Always bringing back those little shampoo bottles for me like some kind of twisted souvenir. He'd FaceTime me from hotel rooms, show me the city view, complain about the terrible room service. I believed every word. But here's the thing about lies. Once you start pulling one thread, the whole sweater unravels. I logged into our cell phone account and looked at his location history. Those Chicago trips? His phone pinged from towers 20 minutes from our house. The Atlanta weekend? Same thing. He never left the city. Not once. I felt like I was going to throw up. But I had to keep digging. I needed proof before I confronted him because women like us, we've been gaslit enough to know that we need evidence. And that's when I saw the folder labeled Project Nightingale. And my heart stopped. That night, Marcus came home whistling. Actually whistling. He kissed my cheek. Asked what was for dinner like he hadn't been living a complete double life. I smiled. I served pot roast. I waited until he fell asleep. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I took his laptop into the bathroom and locked the door. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped it in the toilet. I knew his password because we'd always been transparent. Ha, the irony. I logged in and started searching. First, nothing unusual. Work emails. Fantasy football leagues. But then I opened his personal email account, the one he said he barely used. There were hundreds of unread messages. I started scrolling and my stomach dropped. Confirmations for the Maple Street apartment lease. Furniture delivery receipts. Utility bills for an address that wasn't our home. And then I saw it. A folder on his desktop called Project Nightingale. Clicked it open. Inside were photos. So many photos. Of her. Of them. Together. At restaurants I recognized. Wearing clothes I'd helped him pick out. Smiling at the camera like they were the happy couple. But the worst part? I recognized her face from somewhere. And when I realized where, I actually gasped out loud. Her name was Simone. I learned this from the 47 photos of her in that folder. Many with captions like "My Nightingale" and "Best Weekend Ever." She was younger than me, maybe 35 to my 49. Blonde where I'm brunette. Tiny where I'm curvy. Everything I'd been insecure about wrapped up in one person. She had one of those Instagram perfect faces, all contoured cheekbones and pouty lips. In the photos she wore designer clothes, held fancy cocktails, smiled at my husband like he hung the moon. I zoomed in on one photo looking for clues. She was wearing a necklace, a delicate gold chain with a bird pendant, a nightingale. He'd given her jewelry. When was the last time Marcus bought me jewelry? Our 5th anniversary, and I'd had to drop hints for 3 months. I kept scrolling, torturing myself. Photos of them at the apartment I didn't know existed. Photos at restaurants we'd been to together. And then I saw one that made my breath catch. They were at Sarah's wedding. Our friend Sarah's wedding. 6 months ago. He told me he had food poisoning and couldn't go. And when I zoomed in on the background of that wedding photo, I saw something that made me realize this was bigger than just an affair. I remembered that day so clearly. I'd been so disappointed that Marcus was sick, because Sarah was one of my oldest friends. I'd gone alone, made excuses for him, fielded questions from relatives about where my handsome husband was. The whole time he was at that same wedding with her, playing couple with another woman at an event for my friend. The betrayal of that hit differently, you know? It wasn't just sneaking around. It was replacing me, erasing me, being the partner he pretended to be with me but with someone else. I zoomed in on the photo, and that's when I noticed other people in the background. And one face made my blood run absolutely cold. Standing near the gift table, partially hidden behind a flower arrangement, was Marcus's brother Devin. His brother knew. Devin had seen them together at this wedding and never said a word to me. How many family dinners had I sat through since then? How many times had Devin looked me in the eye and smiled, knowing what his brother was doing? The conspiracy felt massive suddenly. Who else knew? What I found hidden under that tarp would become the evidence that saved me in court. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The next morning, Marcus left for work at his usual time. The second his car turned the corner, I was out in our garage. Remember how I mentioned finding something in there that made my hands shake? This was it. Our garage is detached, and Marcus always kept one section locked. Said it was his man cave stuff, tools and hunting equipment. I'd never questioned it because why would I? But that morning I took a crowbar to that lock. Popped off easier than I expected. Inside was a storage unit, the kind you buy at Home Depot. I pulled open the doors and just stared. There were boxes and boxes of stuff. Designer purses still in their dust bags. Jewelry boxes from Tiffany's. Shopping bags from Nordstrom with the receipts still inside. Thousands of dollars worth of gifts. None of them for me. I started pulling out receipts, my hands shaking. $1,500 for a handbag. $800 for earrings. $2,000 for a watch. I was doing the math in my head, and y'all, we're talking close to $30,000. Money from our account. But the money trail led somewhere I never expected, and it involved my own retirement fund. I took photos of everything in that garage. Every receipt. Every gift tag that said, "To my nightingale." Then I went back inside and opened our bank statements going back 2 years. I'm talking printed statements, spreadsheets, the whole 9 yards. I laid them all out on our dining room table like I was investigating a crime. As I was. What I found made me physically sick. Marcus had been withdrawing cash. Lots of it. $200 here. $500 there. Always under $1,000 so it wouldn't trigger any alerts. When I added it up over 18 months, he pulled out almost $60,000 in cash. But it got worse. I logged into our investment accounts, the ones we were saving for retirement. My retirement since I worked 30 years as a school teacher. There were early withdrawal penalties listed. $10,000 here. $15,000 there. He'd been raiding our future to fund his present with another woman. I felt rage like I'd never felt before. This wasn't just cheating. This was financial abuse. This was stealing my security, my future, my peace of mind. But I didn't confront him, not yet. Because I was about to get a phone call that would change everything. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw his clothes on the lawn and set them on fire. I wanted to call him right then and destroy him with everything I knew. But something stopped me. Maybe it was 25 years of teaching middle school that taught me patience. Maybe it was the voice of my grandmother in my head saying, "Baby, when you're about to go to war, You better have all your weapons loaded. So I didn't confront him. Instead, I called my friend Patricia. She's a divorce attorney, been my girl since college. I told her everything. She listened without interrupting, and when I finished, she said 3 words that probably saved my financial life. Document everything. So that's what I did. I made copies of every receipt, every bank statement, every text message I could access. I took videos of the garage, the laptop, everything. I opened a separate bank account he didn't know about and started squirreling away money. I contacted a photographer to follow him. I was building a case. And then, 3 days into my secret investigation, my phone rang. Unknown number. She said, "We need to meet. Today. It's about Marcus and Simone. And it's worse than you think." I almost didn't answer. I hate unknown numbers. They're always spam or someone trying to sell me an extended car warranty. But something made me pick up. "Hello." Silence for a second. Then a woman's voice, shaky and nervous. "Is this Mrs. Patterson?" Marcus Patterson's wife. My heart started pounding. "Who is this?" More silence. Then she said, "My name is Jennifer. You don't know me, but I know what your husband is doing. I know about Simone. And I know things you need to hear before it's too late." I sat down hard on the kitchen floor. "How do you know about Simone?" She let out a bitter laugh. "Because 6 months ago I was you. Marcus did the same thing to me. The business trips. The secret apartment. All of it. And when I found out, he convinced me I was crazy. He made me doubt everything I knew to be true. But now I have proof. Real proof. And you deserve to see it." My head was spinning. Another wife. Marcus had done this before? Jennifer kept talking, her words tumbling out fast. "I can't do this over the phone." When she showed me the file she'd been keeping, I realized Marcus's double life was actually a triple life. We agreed to meet at a coffee shop across town. Somewhere Marcus would never go. I got there first, ordered a coffee I didn't drink, and waited. When Jennifer walked in, I knew her immediately. Not because I'd seen her before, but because she had that same look I'd been wearing for days, shell-shocked and hollow-eyed. She was around my age, dressed nice but tired-looking. She sat down across from me, and we just stared at each other for a moment. Then she said, "I'm so sorry you're going through this. I know exactly how you feel." She pulled out a folder, an actual manila folder like something from a detective movie, and slid it across the table. "This is everything I collected during my marriage to Marcus." Yes, marriage. We were married for 4 years. I felt the room tilt. "You were married to my husband?" She nodded. "From 2014 to 2018. And during most of that time, he was also married to you. We overlapped for 3 years." I couldn't breathe. Marcus and I got married in 2015. Which meant, oh God. Which meant he married her while being married to me. Bigamy. The actual crime of bigamy. But when she told me how she found out the truth, my blood ran cold. Because it was the exact same way I'd discovered it. Jennifer started talking, and it was like listening to my own story from her mouth. She met Marcus at a conference. He said he was divorced, no kids, working in pharmaceutical sales. He was charming, attentive, generous. They dated for 8 months before he proposed. She said yes. They got married in a small courthouse ceremony. He said he didn't want anything big because his family was complicated. Red flag number 1, but she ignored it because she was in love. The first year was perfect. Then came the business trips. The early morning gym sessions. The weird secretiveness about his phone. She tried to bring it up, and he called her paranoid. Told her she had trust issues from her previous relationships. Made her feel crazy. "I believed him," Jennifer said, tears in her eyes. "I believed him until I saw a charge on our credit card for a florist. $300 for weekly flowers being delivered to an address I didn't recognize." I gasped. "Bella's blooms." Her eyes went wide. "You too." I nodded. "Last month." She shook her head in disgust. Then she opened her phone and showed me something that proved this wasn't just about 2 women. There were more. Jennifer pulled out printed photos from her folder. Photos of Marcus with her. At restaurants. Parks. In front of an apartment building. "This is the place on Maple Street," she said. "Same one he's using now?" I nodded, feeling sick. She continued. He kept that apartment the entire time we were married. Told me he needed it for work for when he had early meetings downtown. I believed that too. I believed everything. She showed me bank statements next. The same pattern of cash withdrawals. The same gradual draining of accounts. By the time I figured it out, he'd taken almost $80,000 from our joint savings. Money I'd saved from my nursing job before we met. I thought about my retirement fund, about the $30,000 in gifts, about the $60,000 in cash. He'd stolen from both of us. Jennifer wasn't done. When I finally confronted him with evidence, you know what he did? He cried. Said he had a problem. Said he was addicted to the thrill of double lives and needed help. He begged me not to leave. And that's when she told me something that made me realize I might not actually be Marcus's legal wife at all. So what did you do? I asked Jennifer. She took a shaky breath. I stayed. For 6 more months I stayed. He went to therapy, or said he did. He showed me bank statements. He let me check his phone. He was the perfect apologetic husband. And I thought we were healing. She laughed bitterly. Then one day I came home early from a shift at the hospital and found him packing a suitcase. Not for a business trip. He was leaving. Just walking out. No explanation. No goodbye. He looked at me like I was a stranger and said, "This isn't working anymore." That was it. 4 years of marriage ended in one sentence. I reached across and squeezed her hand. How did you find out about me? She pulled out another document. I hired a private investigator during the divorce. Best money I ever spent. That's how I found out Marcus was married to you before he married me. Our marriage was never legal. It was bigamy. My stomach dropped. Which means? She nodded. Which means technically you were his only legal wife. But there was something else in that folder, something that would later save us both in court. Also what? I whispered. Jennifer looked me dead in the eye. Also, if he married me while married to you, and now he's with Simone, what's to say he hasn't married her too? What's to say you're still the legal wife? The coffee shop suddenly felt too small, too hot. You think he married Simone? She shrugged. I don't know. But the pattern is there. New woman. Secret apartment. Fake business trips. Draining bank accounts. Then when he's squeezed one life dry, he moves to the next. Like rotating crops. I felt like I was in a nightmare. How is this even possible? How did he keep it all straight? Jennifer pulled out a notebook from her folder. An actual composition notebook with Marcus's handwriting. I found this hidden in his car during our marriage. It's his system. Look. She opened it. Inside were schedules. Color-coded calendars. Notes like anniversary with J May 15th, and date night with S check work excuse. He'd been managing multiple lives like a project manager. There were names I didn't recognize. Women I didn't know. Who are these other people? I asked. Jennifer then said something that made me realize we weren't victims. We were marks in a much bigger con. I don't know all of them, Jennifer admitted. But I've been tracking him since our divorce. I know about Simone because I hired someone to follow him after I started getting weird credit card alerts. Turns out he still had access to an old card of mine, and he was using it. She showed me charges, jewelry, dinners, hotel rooms, all on Jennifer's card. That's fraud, I said. That's theft. She nodded. And that's just what I can prove. The investigator found at least 2 other women Marcus has been involved with over the past 5 years. One in Seattle, one in Denver. Both with the same story. Met him, fell for him, he was traveling for work, slowly isolated them, took their money, then vanished. This wasn't infidelity. This was a pattern. This was a con artist. This was a predator. He's been doing this for years, Jennifer said quietly. Maybe decades. Targeting women who are financially stable, emotionally vulnerable, trusting. Women like us. I felt stupid and angry and heartbroken all at once. How do we stop him? Jennifer smiled, a cold, determined smile. And that's when Jennifer told me about the woman who was helping her, and why we needed to meet her immediately. We don't just stop him, Jennifer said. We destroy him legally. We make sure he can never do this to another woman again. She explained that she'd been working with a lawyer who specialized in fraud cases. This lawyer had helped other women who'd been conned by romantic partners. Her name is Margaret Chun and she's a bulldog. She helped me get a criminal investigation started against Marcus for bigamy and fraud. I felt hope for the first time in days. So what do we do? Jennifer pulled out a checklist. I'm not kidding, an actual printed checklist. First, you document everything. Every bank statement, every lie, every piece of evidence. Second, we get you a forensic accountant. You need to know exactly how much he's stolen from you. Third, we coordinate. We share information. We build an airtight case together. I nodded, taking notes. What else? She leaned forward. Fourth, we find Simone. We warn her. Because if he's done this to us, he's doing it to her. She deserves to know. I hesitated. What if she doesn't believe us? But when we finally tracked down Simone's information, what we discovered made us realize she wasn't a victim. She was something much worse. Jennifer pulled out her phone. I already found her. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Her name is Simone Westbrook. She works in marketing for a tech company downtown. Lives in that Maple Street apartment with Marcus, or at least, she thinks it's their place together. We spent an hour planning how to approach her. We didn't want to ambush her or scare her. We wanted to give her the truth gently, the way we would have wanted someone to do for us. We decided to send her a message through Instagram first. Something simple. Jennifer typed it out. Hi Simone. My name is Jennifer and this is Patricia. We don't know you, but we need to talk to you about Marcus Patterson. It's urgent and it's about your safety and your finances. Please message us back. We hit send. Then we waited. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Then my phone buzzed. It was from Jennifer's Instagram. Simone had responded. But her message wasn't what we expected. It said, I know who you are. Marcus warned me you might try to contact me. He said you were his crazy exes who couldn't let go. But what she said next made us realize Marcus had been planning for this exact moment, and we'd walked right into his trap. I felt my face get hot. Crazy exes. He'd already poisoned her against us. Jennifer typed back quickly. Whatever he told you about us isn't true. We have proof. Bank statements. Photos. Legal documents. He was married to both of us at the same time. He's a con artist. 3 dots appeared. She was typing. Then, I don't know what game you're playing, but Marcus and I are engaged. We're getting married in 3 months. He's been nothing but honest with me. He told me you'd probably try to sabotage his happiness because you're bitter and jealous. Please leave us alone or I'll report you for harassment. Engaged. The word hit me like a truck. Jennifer grabbed my hand. Don't panic. This is what he does. He turns them against us before we can warn them. I typed back. Simone, I'm not bitter. I'm his wife. I'm still married to him. Legally. We never divorced. Whatever marriage he's planning with you isn't legal. It's bigamy. Send. We waited. The 3 dots appeared again. Then disappeared. Then appeared. Finally, a message came through. And when she asked us for proof, we sent her something that we knew would shatter her entire reality, but we had no idea it would lead to this. Her message said, prove it. If you're really his wife, prove it. Because he showed me divorce papers. From 2019. He's been divorced for 6 years. My heart sank. He'd faked divorce papers? Jennifer looked at me. Send her your marriage certificate. Send her photos of you two together recently. Send her everything. I pulled up my photo gallery. Pictures of Marcus and me from last month. At our anniversary dinner. Him kissing my cheek. The date stamp visible. I sent 5 photos. Then I photographed our marriage certificate from 2015 and sent that too. For good measure, I sent a screenshot of our joint bank account from this morning with both our names on it. We waited. The 3 dots appeared and stayed for a long time. Finally, this has to be photoshopped. This can't be real. Jennifer sent her version too. Photos from her marriage. Documents. Bank statements. Everything. Then she wrote, Simone, we're not your enemies. We're trying to help you. Meet with us. 1 coffee. Just listen. If you still don't believe us after that, we'll leave you alone. But when Simone walked into that coffee shop, the first thing she said wasn't what we expected. And it changed everything. 24 hours later, we sat in the same coffee shop, this time waiting for Simone. I was nervous. What if she brought Marcus? What if this was a trap? But then the door opened and she walked in alone. And y'all, she looked rough. Her hair was in a messy bun. No makeup. Eyes red like she'd been crying. She spotted us and walked over slowly. Jennifer and I stood up. For a moment we all just looked at each other. 3 women who'd loved the same man, been lied to by the same man, and had our lives upended by the same man. Then Simone said something that knocked the wind out of me. "I'm pregnant." The coffee shop noise faded to white static. Jennifer grabbed the table for support. I couldn't speak. Simone sat down heavily and started crying. "I'm 12 weeks pregnant. We found out last month. Marcus was so happy. He said we'd be a family. He's been planning the nursery, buying baby books, acting like the perfect father-to-be." She looked up at us with devastated eyes. But then Simone told us something about the pregnancy that made us realize Marcus's con was even more sinister than we thought. I reached across and took Simone's hand. All the anger I'd felt toward her evaporated. She was a victim too. "Does he know you contacted us?" I asked gently. She shook her head. "He left this morning for a business trip to Chicago. He'll be gone for 3 days. Jennifer and I exchanged looks. Chicago. The same lie he'd told both of us. Simone continued through her tears. "After you sent those photos, I spent all night going through everything. His phone, his laptop, his car. And I found things that made me sick." She pulled out her phone and showed us photos she'd taken. Credit cards I didn't recognize. Bank statements from accounts with different names. Receipts from jewelers, including one from last week for an engagement ring. "He bought another engagement ring 3 days ago," Simone said. "Not the one he gave me. A different one. For someone else." My stomach turned. Jennifer looked furious. "He's got another woman. Right now. While planning a wedding with you and being married to Patricia." But Simone shook her head. "It's worse than that." When Simone explained what Marcus had convinced her to invest in, we realized this wasn't just about relationships, it was about money, and lots of it. 6 months ago, Simone said, wiping her eyes, Marcus told me about an investment opportunity, a medical startup that was about to go public. He said his company was getting in on the ground floor, and if we invested now, we'd triple our money in a year. I felt cold dread creep up my spine. "How much did you invest?" She looked down. "Everything. My entire savings. $78,000. Money my parents left me when they died. My whole inheritance." Jennifer closed her eyes. "Simone, there is no investment." "I know that now," Simone said bitterly. "When I tried to look up the company last night, it doesn't exist. The website he showed me is gone. The contact person? Fake. The account he had me wire the money to? It's in the Cayman Islands. This wasn't just infidelity. This wasn't just bigamy. This was organized fraud. This was money laundering. This was a criminal operation. We need to go to the police," I said. "Today. Right now." But Jennifer was looking at her phone, her face pale. "Before we do that, you need to see this." Jennifer had been in contact with a group of women, and when she told us how many there were, I couldn't believe it. Jennifer turned her phone screen toward us. It was a private Facebook group called Marcus Patterson Survivors. I started this group 6 months ago after I found the woman from Seattle. Then the Denver woman joined. Then 3 more. As of this morning, there are 11 women in this group. 11. 11 women. All with the same story, Jennifer continued. Romance. Secret apartments. Fake business trips. Stolen money. And they all invested in the same fake medical startup. Simone gasped. "All of them." Jennifer nodded. "We've done the math. Between all 11 of us, Marcus has stolen close to $900,000. And that's just what we know about." I felt like I was going to be sick. This was a career criminal. This was someone who'd been perfecting his con for years, maybe decades. How is he getting away with this? Simone asked. "Because we all stayed quiet," Jennifer said. "We were embarrassed. Ashamed. We blamed ourselves. We didn't want anyone to know we'd been fooled. That's what he counts on. That's his whole strategy, Pick strong, independent women who won't want to admit they were conned. But when Jennifer added us to the group chat and we started reading the other women's stories, we found something that would blow this case wide open. Right there in the coffee shop, Jennifer added Simone and me to the Facebook group. Within minutes, messages started pouring in. Is that her? Is that the Simone from Instagram? Welcome. I'm so sorry you're here. Each woman introduced herself. There was Michelle from Seattle. He'd been engaged to her while married to me. Cara from Denver, same story. Rachel from Phoenix. Diane from Portland. The list went on. Each one shared their story in the chat, and it was like reading the same nightmare over and over. Same lines. Same promises. Same theft. But then one woman, Lindsay from Austin, wrote something that made us all stop scrolling. Did anyone else get life insurance? Because Marcus took out a $2 million policy on me last year. I found the paperwork in his car after he left. The chat went silent. Then one by one, women started responding. He did that to me too. I have a policy. He insisted on it. Said it was smart financial planning. Mine is for $3 million. Mine for $1.5 million. My hands started shaking. And when we realized what all these life insurance policies might mean, I knew we weren't just dealing with a con artist. We were dealing with something much, much darker. Oh my God, Simone whispered. He's insuring us all. Why would he need life insurance on women he's not actually married to? Jennifer's face had gone white. Unless he's planning something. I didn't want to say it out loud. Couldn't say it. But Lindsay and Austin said what we were all thinking. What if he's planning to kill us? The chat exploded. Panic. Disbelief. Fear. But then Cara from Denver wrote, my doctor called me last month. Said my prescription was wrong. Someone had changed my heart medication dosage to something dangerous. I thought it was a pharmacy error. But Marcus is the one who picks up my prescriptions. Another message. I had a car accident 6 months ago. Brake failure. The mechanic said someone had cut the brake lines partially. Like they wanted it to look like gradual wear. Another. I got food poisoning 3 times in 2 months. Always after Marcus cooked dinner. The pattern was there. Subtle. Easy to dismiss individually. But together, this was attempted murder. Multiple times. Multiple women. But when we finally went to the police, what the detective told us made our blood run cold. And it involved a woman who hadn't been as lucky as us. We left that coffee shop and went straight to the police station. All 3 of us. We brought Jennifer's folder, Simone's evidence, my bank statements, everything. We asked for a detective and told them we needed to report fraud, bigamy, and possible attempted murder. They put us in a small room with a detective named Sarah Morrison. She was maybe 50, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. We laid it all out. Every detail. Every woman. Every stolen dollar. The life insurance policies. The suspicious accidents. She listened without interrupting, taking notes the whole time. When we finished, she sat back and was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, Marcus Patterson. Not a question. A statement. You know him? Jennifer asked. Detective Morrison nodded slowly. We've been investigating him for 8 months. Ever since a woman named Rebecca Holloway died in what looked like an accidental fall down her basement stairs. The room went cold. She was involved with Marcus? I whispered. The detective opened a file on her desk. Engaged to him. Had a $2 million life insurance policy with him as the beneficiary. But what Detective Morrison told us about the week before Rebecca died made us realize we'd all been in danger this entire time. Detective Morrison showed us a photo of Rebecca. She was beautiful, dark hair, warm smile, looked to be in her early 40s. Rebecca Holloway worked as a nurse. Met Marcus at a hospital charity event 2 years ago. Same pattern as all of you, whirlwind romance, secret apartment, business trips. She invested her savings into his fake medical startup. $85,000. Simone was crying quietly. I felt numb. The week before she died, Morrison continued, Rebecca called our tip line. Said she discovered her fiancé was married to someone else. Said she had proof of fraud. We scheduled an interview with her. She never made it. Jennifer leaned forward. You think he killed her? Morrison's expression was grim. Rebecca's neighbor reported seeing a man matching Marcus's description leaving her house around the time of death. But by the time we got there, he was gone. The fall could have been an accident. The medical examiner couldn't prove otherwise. But there were inconsistencies. Bruises that didn't match the fall pattern. And she told 3 people that week that if anything happened to her, we should look at Marcus. My voice shook. Did he collect the insurance money? And when Detective Morrison told us what Marcus did with that $2 million, we realized his operation was even bigger than we thought. He tried, Morrison said. But Rebecca had changed her beneficiary 2 days before she died. Changed it to her sister. Marcus got nothing. Relief flooded through me, but it was temporary. Morrison continued. That's when he accelerated. Started juggling more women. More investments. More policies. We think losing that payout made him desperate. He needed money fast. She pulled out more files. We've been tracking him, but it's been difficult. He uses multiple identities. Different social security numbers, all fake. He has apartments in 5 different cities. Bank accounts in 3 different countries. This is organized crime. Why didn't you arrest him? Simone asked. We needed more evidence. Proof of intent. We couldn't just bring him in on fraud charges and hope the murder charge would stick. We needed something solid that connected him to Rebecca's death. Detective Morrison looked at each of us. But now we have you 3. And that Facebook group. 11 witnesses. Nearly $1 million in documented theft. Life insurance policies on multiple women. This is a RICO case now. Organized criminal activity. She opened her laptop. We need full statements from each of you. But Detective Morrison didn't just want our statements. She wanted us to help catch Marcus in the act. And her plan was dangerous. We spent 4 hours at that police station giving statements. Every detail. Every transaction. Every lie. When we finished, Morrison laid out a plan that made my stomach flip. Marcus doesn't know you've connected with each other yet. That's our advantage. We want to set up a sting operation. Get him on tape admitting to the fraud. Maybe even admitting to what happened to Rebecca. How? I asked. Morrison looked at me. Patricia, you confront him. But you'll be wearing a wire. We'll have officers positioned around your house. You tell him you know everything about Simone, about Jennifer, about the money. See how he reacts. What if he gets violent? Simone asked. That's why we'll have a team there. But I won't lie to you, there's risk. He's dangerous. We know that now. I can't force you to do this. I thought about Rebecca. About her dying alone in her basement. About the 11 women he'd conned. About that baby Simone was carrying who deserved better. I'll do it, I said. When? Morrison checked her phone. He gets back from his fake Chicago trip tomorrow night, correct? But the night before the sting, I got a text message from Marcus that made me realize he might know something was wrong. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed thinking about everything. About 10 years of marriage. About the man I thought I knew. About how convincing his lies had been. The police had given me a wire to wear. A tiny microphone that would record everything. They coached me on what to say, how to push him to admit things without making him suspicious. Be emotional, Morrison had said. Use your real feelings. Angry. Betrayed. Hurt. That's what he'll expect. But steer the conversation toward the money. Toward the other women. We need admissions on tape. I practiced in the mirror. I know about Simone. I know about the apartment. I know about the money you stole. Each sentence felt like swallowing glass. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Can't wait to see you tomorrow, babe. Missed you so much. Chicago was boring without you. I'm bringing you a surprise. Love you forever. Love you forever. The words made me want to vomit. I didn't respond. But then another text came through. This one made my blood freeze. Hey, did you move anything in the garage? Something feels off. I called Detective Morrison immediately, and what she told me about that garage made me realize Marcus had been planning his escape all along. My hand shook as I dialed Morrison's number. She answered on the second ring. Patterson? What's wrong? He knows something's off. He texted about the garage. I broke the lock to get into his storage area. What if he realizes I found everything? Silence. Then Morrison said something that chilled me. We sent a team to process that garage this afternoon while you were giving your statement. Patricia, we found more than just gifts and receipts in there. What do you mean? We found passports. 6 of them. All Marcus's photo, different names. We found cash, $50,000 in a locked box. And we found a burner phone with messages to a woman in Toronto. He's got another mark up there. My legs went weak. There's more, Morrison continued. We found something hidden in the wall. Documents. Property deeds. He owns a cabin in Montana under a fake name. And there were plane tickets. One-way tickets to Costa Rica. Dated for next month. He was planning to disappear. Run away with whatever money he'd stolen. Leave all of us holding the pieces of our broken lives. What do we do? I whispered. When I put that wire on the next evening, my hands were shaking so badly that Detective Morrison had to help me. And then she told me something that changed the entire plan. The next evening came too fast. Marcus texted that he'd be home by 7. At 5 o'clock, Detective Morrison came to my house with a technical team. They set up cameras in the living room, hidden in picture frames and book spines. They gave me the wire. It looked like a small button, but it would record everything. Morrison taped it to my chest under my shirt, while a female officer coached me. Remember, let him talk. People like Marcus, they like to brag when they're cornered. Let him explain himself. Let him justify. That's when he'll slip up. I nodded, trying to steady my breathing. Then Morrison said, Patricia, I need to tell you something. We got a call an hour ago. From a hospital in Montana. Near that cabin we found the deed for. My heart stopped. What kind of call? A woman was admitted 3 days ago. Drug overdose. She survived, but barely. When she woke up, she told the nurses her boyfriend gave her pills that made her sick. She described Marcus perfectly. Even knew his name. Another victim. Another attempted murder. Did she have life insurance? I asked, though I already knew the answer. When I heard his car in the driveway, every instinct screamed at me to run. But what happened when he walked through that door was nothing like what we'd planned. 7 o'clock came. I heard his car pull into the driveway. The team scattered. Morrison in the bedroom with a laptop showing the camera feeds. 2 officers in the garage, 2 more outside. I was alone in the living room, my heart pounding so hard I thought the wire might pick it up. The door opened. Honey, I'm home. Marcus called out in that cheerful voice I'd heard thousands of times. He walked in with a suitcase and a bag from my favorite bakery. I brought you those lemon bars you love. He looked the same. Same smile. Same warmth in his eyes. How had I never seen the monster underneath? Hey, I said, keeping my voice steady. How was Chicago? He started talking about the conference, the boring meetings, the terrible hotel food. All lies. Smooth practice lies. I let him go on for a few minutes. Then I said, Marcus, we need to talk. About something important. He set down the bakery bag, his expression shifting to concern. Of course, babe. What's wrong? You look upset. This was it. My moment. I know about Simone. For just a second I saw his mask slip. And what I saw underneath made me understand how Rebecca must have felt in her final moments. The name hung in the air between us. For 1 second, just one, I saw his face change. The warmth disappeared. His eyes went flat and cold. It was like watching a robot power down. Then just as quickly the mask was back. Confusion. Hurt. Concern. Simone? Baby, who's Simone? His voice was perfect. Genuinely puzzled. If I hadn't seen that 1 second slip, I might have doubted myself. Your girlfriend, I said. The woman you've been living with at the apartment on Maple Street. The woman you're engaged to. The woman who's pregnant with your baby. He blinked. Shook his head. Patricia, what are you talking about? Have you been drinking? Are you feeling okay? The gaslighting was automatic. Effortless. This was what he did. Make you doubt your own sanity. I've seen the photos, Marcus. I've seen the bank statements. I know about the money you've stolen. I know about the fake investment. I know about Jennifer. I know about all of them. His expression darkened. The concerned husband act was fading. You went through my things. Not a question. An accusation. You had no right. And then he said something that made me realize he wasn't just going to confess, he was going to justify everything. And it was worse than I ever imagined. I had every right. I shot back. You're my husband. You've been stealing from me. Living a double life. You're a criminal. He laughed. Actually laughed. It was a cold, bitter sound. A criminal? Patricia, let's be real here. You were never supposed to find out. None of you were. I gave you a good life. I paid the bills. I was a good husband. You stole my retirement money. He shrugged. You would have wasted it on boring vacations and a kitchen remodel. I put it to better use. My mouth fell open. He wasn't even denying it. He was justifying it. Better use? Like funding your fake life with Simone. Marcus walked to the kitchen and poured himself a drink. Calm. Casual. Like we were discussing the weather. Simone is an investment. She's got family money. Connections. The baby is leverage. When we get married, I'll have access to her trust fund. It's smart business. Business. He called his fake relationships business. What about Jennifer? What about Rebecca? At Rebecca's name, something flickered across his face. Fear. Anger? He took a long drink. What about them? When I pressed him about Rebecca's death, what he said next was caught perfectly on the wire. And it was exactly what Detective Morrison needed to hear. Rebecca is dead, Marcus. She fell down her stairs. Right after she found out about you. Right after she changed her life insurance beneficiary. Convenient timing. He turned to face me fully now, and there was no mask anymore. Just cold calculation. Rebecca was a problem. She was going to go to the police. She was going to ruin everything I'd built. My blood went cold. What did you do to her? He smiled. Actually smiled. I didn't do anything. She fell. Accidents happen. Especially when people drink too much wine and take sleeping pills they don't know are double strength. Oh my God. He was confessing. Admitting he drugged her. You killed her. I solved a problem, he corrected. There's a difference. Rebecca was going to take everything from me. The money. My freedom. I couldn't let that happen. So yes, I helped her take her sleeping pills. I made sure she had plenty of wine. And when she got dizzy at the top of those stairs, he shrugged. Gravity did the rest. I felt bile rise in my throat. You're a monster. He laughed again. That's when Detective Morrison burst through the bedroom door. But Marcus did something that made everyone freeze. Monster? No. I'm a businessman. You women are all the same. Emotional, naive, easy to manipulate. You believe everything a charming man tells you. You ignore red flags because you're desperate for love. It's pathetic, really. Rage flooded through me. We're pathetic? You're the one who has to lie and steal to get anyone to love you. Love. He laughed harder now. You think this was about love? Patricia, I never loved you. Not for 1 second. You were a paycheck. A place to live. A tax write-off. That's it. Before I could respond, the bedroom door flew open. Detective Morrison stepped out with 2 officers behind her. Marcus Patterson, you're under arrest for the murder of Rebecca Holloway. Fraud, theft, and bigamy. For 1 second, Marcus just stared. Then his hand moved to his pocket. Don't move. Morrison shouted, drawing her weapon. The officers rushed forward. But Marcus was faster than expected. He pulled something from his pocket, not a gun. A phone. You think you're the only one who can record conversations? He snarled at me. I've been recording every word you said. Entrapment. This whole thing is inadmissible. But Detective Morrison just smiled, because she'd been planning for this exact moment, and what she revealed made Marcus's face go white. Morrison didn't look worried. In fact, she smiled. Actually, Marcus, it's not entrapment. Patricia is a private citizen who initiated this conversation on her own. She has every right to record you in her own home. That's legal. What's not legal is murder, which you just confessed to. Marcus's face went from smug to panicked in seconds. I want my lawyer. You'll get one, Morrison said as officers put handcuffs on him. But first, I want you to know something. That phone you're holding? We've had a warrant for your phone records for 6 weeks. Every call, every text, every search for life insurance policies and untraceable poisons. We have it all. His face drained of color. And that cabin in Montana? Where you tried to kill Amanda Reeves 3 days ago? She survived. And she's testifying. Along with 11 other women you conned. Along with Patricia. Along with Jennifer. Along with Simone. Morrison got close to his face. You're not a businessman, Marcus. You're a serial predator. And you're going away for the rest of your life. As they let him out, he looked back at me one last time. No charm. No mask. Just pure hatred. Okay, so remember how I said I was standing in Target when everything changed? Let me bring you back to that moment because now you know the whole story. That woman who approached me? That was Jennifer. She'd been following Marcus for months, gathering evidence, and when she saw me shopping alone, she knew it was time to tell me the truth. That one conversation in aisle 7 led to all of this. Marcus is in prison now. No bail. He's facing murder charges for Rebecca, multiple counts of fraud, bigamy, and attempted murder for Amanda in Montana. The DA says he's looking at life without parole. Jennifer, Simone, and I are working together to recover our money. The 11 women from the Facebook group? We're now 12. We meet every month. We're supporting each other through therapy, legal battles, and rebuilding our lives. Simone had her baby, a beautiful girl she named Rebecca, after the woman whose death saved the rest of us. And me? I'm in my new apartment. Smaller than my old house, but it's mine. Just mine. I'm dating again, slowly, carefully, with my eyes wide open. I learned that the gut feeling, that little voice that tells you something's wrong, it's never lying. Listen to it. Trust it. Because sometimes the most dangerous person in your life is the one who convinced you that you were crazy for having doubts. Stay safe out there, ladies. And remember, you're never paranoid if you turn out to be right.